The research ship New Horizon drifted through the empty space between stars. Inside the quiet bridge, Dr. Amanda Walsh stared at her computer screen. Strange signals had been coming through the deep space radio for 3 days now. They were not random noise. Someone was trying to talk. Captain Jake Morrison walked over to her station. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. "Anything new on those signals, Doc?" Amanda looked up at him. Her eyes were tired from staring at the screen for hours. "They are getting stronger, Jake, and I think I know what they are saying." Jake pulled up a chair next to her. The New Horizon was a small ship with only 12 people on board. Everyone knew everyone else. They had been traveling for 6 months, studying dead planets and empty space. This was the first interesting thing that had happened. "Show me what you found," Jake said. Amanda turned her screen so he could see it better. Lines of green text filled the display. "The computer finally broke the code an hour ago. These are not random signals. Someone is asking for help." Jake read the words on the screen. His face went pale. "This says they are under attack. How far away are they?" "The signals are coming from the Kepler system. That is about 2 weeks' travel from here." Amanda touched a few buttons and brought up a star map. A red dot showed where the signals came from. "Jake, there is something else, something strange." "What do you mean?" Amanda pointed to another part of the screen. "They mention Earth. They mention humans. They call us something weird. Deathworlders." Jake frowned. "Deathworlders? What does that mean?" Before Amanda could answer, Lieutenant Commander Ryan Blake walked onto the bridge. Ryan was the only military person on the ship. He was supposed to protect them if they found anything dangerous. Most days he had nothing to do. "I heard voices," Ryan said. "What are you two looking at?" Jake pointed to the screen. "We got a message from aliens. They are asking for help." Ryan moved closer to read the text. His training kicked in right away. "How do we know this is real? It could be a trap." Amanda shook her head. "I have been studying these signals for days. The language is too complex to be fake. And look at this part." She pointed to a section of text. "They describe their planet. They talk about their people. This is real, Ryan." Jake stood up and walked to the big window that looked out into space. Stars filled the darkness in every direction. "So there are really aliens out there. And they know about us." "Not just know about us," Amanda said. "They asked for us specifically. They want humans to help them." Ryan read more of the message. "It says here that someone called the Hegemony is attacking them. They have already destroyed 12 worlds. The aliens sending this message are called Zephyrians." Amanda nodded. "The Zephyrians say they are peaceful people. They have never fought a war. But the Hegemony kills everyone who will not become their slaves." Jake turned back from the window. "Why are they asking us for help? How do they even know humans exist?" "That is the strange part," Amanda said. "They heard stories about us, stories about Earth being a death world. They think that makes us the best fighters in the galaxy." Ryan laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "They think Earth is a death world? Compared to what?" Amanda brought up more text. "Listen to this. They describe their home planet. The temperature never changes. There are no storms, no earthquakes, no dangerous animals. They think Earth is the most dangerous planet anyone could live on." "Well, they are not wrong," Jake said. "We do have hurricanes and earthquakes and bears and sharks. And wars," Ryan added. "Do not forget wars. Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years." Amanda kept reading. "The Zephyrians say that only Deathworlders could survive what Earth throws at its people. They think that makes us natural warriors." Jake walked back to his chair and sat down hard. "So let me understand this. Aliens are under attack. They want our help because they think living on Earth makes us tough. And we are supposed to do what exactly?" Ryan looked at the message again. "The Hegemony has big ships and powerful weapons. The Zephyrians have already lost most of their fleet. If someone does not help them soon, they will all be dead or slaves." "But we are just a research ship," Jake said. "We have 12 people and no weapons. What can we do against an alien empire?" Amanda stood up and faced both men. We can contact Earth. We can tell them what is happening. And then what? Jake asked. Then Earth decides if we help or not. Ryan shook his head. You are talking about starting a war. Humans have never fought aliens before. We do not know anything about their technology or their tactics. We know they are killing innocent people, Amanda said. Her voice was getting louder. We know they are taking over world after world, and we know they asked us for help. Jake looked at both of them. As captain, the decision was his to make. If he sent the message to Earth, everything would change. If he did not, the Zephyrians would probably die. How long until the hegemony reaches the Zephyrian homeworld? He asked. Amanda checked her computer. Based on what they told us, maybe 3 months. That is enough time for Earth to send ships, Ryan said quietly. Jake stood up and walked to his command chair. Amanda, prepare a message for Earth Fleet. Command. Include everything we learned about the Zephyrians and the hegemony. Ryan, I want you to add your military analysis. Are you sure about this, Jake? Ryan asked. Jake looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, people were dying. People who had asked humans for help because they believed Earth made the best warriors in the galaxy. Send the message, Jake said. Let Earth decide what to do about it. Amanda started typing. Her fingers moved fast across the keyboard. Message. Ready to transmit, Captain. Jake took a deep breath. Once he gave the order, there would be no taking it back. Earth would know about the aliens. Earth would have to choose between staying safe at home or going to war in the stars. Transmit the message, Jake said. The radio dish on top of the New Horizon turned toward Earth. The message began its long journey home. In a few hours, people on Earth would learn they were not alone in the universe. They would learn that aliens were fighting and dying far from home. And they would learn that someone out there thought humans were the toughest fighters in the galaxy. Jake hoped the aliens were right. Admiral Lisa Carter walked into the war room at Fleet Headquarters on Luna City. The message from the New Horizon had arrived 3 hours ago. Every important person in Earth's military was now sitting around the big metal table. The room was quiet except for the hum of computers. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Carter said, we are no longer alone in the universe. She pressed a button and the alien message appeared on the wall screen. Everyone in the room had already read it, but seeing it again made it feel more real. Real aliens had asked humans for help. General Patrick Stone, head of Earth's ground forces, spoke first. How do we know this is not a trick? Maybe these hegemony aliens are trying to get us to leave Earth unprotected. Commander Ben Hayes, the intelligence chief, opened his tablet. I have been studying the message for 2 hours. The language patterns are too complex to fake. Also, why would aliens want to trick us? They have faster ships and better weapons. If they wanted to attack Earth, they would just do it. Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat at the far end of the table. She was Earth's top expert on alien psychology, even though she had never met a real alien before today. The Zephyrians sound desperate in their message. Fear and hope are hard emotions to fake even for humans. I believe they are telling the truth. Admiral Carter nodded. Elena, what can you tell us about these aliens? Dr. Rodriguez stood up and walked to the screen. The Zephyrians describe themselves as peaceful. They have not fought a war in over 1,000 years. Their world has no dangerous animals or bad weather. They are probably physically weak compared to humans. What about the hegemony? Asked General Stone. Different story, Dr. Rodriguez said. They are conquerors. They take over worlds and make slaves of the people. They have been doing this for a long time. But here is the interesting part. They probably pick on weak civilizations. They might not know how to fight someone who fights back hard. Captain Robert Clark, the fleet's top pilot, raised his hand. The message says the hegemony has already taken 12 worlds. That sounds like they know how to fight. Against peaceful people, Dr. Rodriguez replied. The Zephyrians had no weapons when the attack started. It would be like attacking a hospital with tanks. Admiral Carter walked around the table. The real question is this: should humanity get involved in an alien war? The room erupted in voices. Half the people thought it was too dangerous. The other half thought it was a great opportunity. Admiral Carter let them argue for a few minutes, then raised her hand for quiet. Ben, what does intelligence think? Commander Hayes cleared his throat. If the hegemony is really taking over world after world, they will eventually find Earth. Better to fight them now when we have allies, than later when we are alone. But we know nothing about fighting in space, General Stone said. Our ships are built for exploring, not for war. Young Lieutenant Sarah Kim had been quiet during the meeting. She was fresh out of the academy and the lowest-ranking person in the room, but she had been thinking hard about the alien message. Admiral, she said, may I say something? Everyone looked at her. New lieutenants did not usually speak in meetings like this. Admiral Carter nodded. The aliens did not just ask for help, Sarah said. They asked for humans specifically. They called us Deathworlders. They think Earth makes the best fighters in the galaxy. So what? General Stone asked. Sarah stood up. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. So maybe they are right. Think about it. We live on a planet with hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, and fires. We have poisonous snakes and sharks and bears. We have diseases and wars and famines. Any human who lives to be an adult has survived things that would kill most other species. The room was quiet now. Everyone was listening. Look at our history, Sarah continued. We have fought wars with sticks and stones. We have fought wars with swords and guns. We have fought wars in deserts and jungles and frozen wastelands. We never give up. We never stop fighting. Maybe that is exactly what the galaxy needs. Admiral Carter smiled. Thank you, Lieutenant. Anyone else have thoughts? Dr. Rodriguez raised her hand. Sarah makes a good point. The Zephyrians chose to contact us because they heard stories about Earth. Stories about how dangerous our world is. They believe that surviving on Earth makes us natural warriors. Do you think they are right? Admiral Carter asked. I think they might be. Humans are adaptable. We solve problems under pressure. We fight when we are outnumbered. We never give up when things look hopeless. Those are exactly the skills you need in war. Captain Clark leaned forward. There is something else to consider. If we help the Zephyrians, we might learn about their technology. The message says they have faster ships and better computers than us. Commander Hayes nodded. Good point. This could be our chance to make a real alliance with advanced aliens. Think about what we could learn from them. General Stone was still not convinced. And if we lose? If this hegemony destroys our fleet? Then Earth has no protection at all. Admiral Carter had been thinking about this since the message arrived. Then we send everything we have. Every ship, every Marine, every pilot. We do not hold anything back. The room went quiet again. Sending the entire fleet meant there would be nothing left to protect Earth. Admiral, General Stone said slowly, are you talking about betting everything on our first alien war? Yes, Admiral Carter said. That is exactly what I am talking about. The Zephyrians asked for Deathworlders. Let us show the galaxy what Deathworlders can do. She walked to the front of the room and looked at each person around the table. I'm going to recommend to the President that we send the entire fleet to help the Zephyrians. Anyone who disagrees can speak now. No one spoke. Admiral Carter picked up the secure phone that connected directly to the President. Ma'am, this is Admiral Carter. We need to talk. 20 minutes later, President Catherine Lee made the announcement that changed human history. Earth would answer the alien plea for help. The entire fleet would launch within 2 weeks. Humanity was going to war among the stars. The asteroid belt around Mars had never seen so many ships in one place. Every vessel that could fly was gathering there. Warships, cargo haulers, research vessels, and even old mining boats. If it had engines and could carry people, it was part of the fleet now. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Defiant. Through the huge windows, she could see hundreds of ships floating in space. Some were big enough to carry 1,000 people. Others were small fighters with room for just one pilot. All of them were getting ready for the longest journey humans had ever taken. Admiral, said Colonel Mike Torres, walking up behind her. Mike was in charge of all the ground troops. His Marines would be the ones fighting on alien planets. The weapon modifications are almost done. But I have to tell you, our guns look like toys compared to what the aliens have. Lisa turned to face him. Mike was a big man with scars on his hands from many battles on Earth. If he was worried about the weapons, then there was good reason to worry. What did the engineers figure out? She asked. Our bullets and missiles work fine, Mike said. But alien energy weapons can probably cut through our armor like paper. The good news is that our weapons might surprise them. They probably never fought anyone who still uses gunpowder and metal bullets. Captain Nicole Grant joined the conversation. She was the best pilot in the fleet and would lead all the fighter squadrons. Her blonde hair was tied back and her flight suit was already on, even though they would not launch for 2 more days. I have been running practice fights with the new ships, Nicole said. The alien technology we copied from old crash sites works, but barely. Our fighters are faster than anything aliens have seen before, but their weapons are much more powerful. Lisa looked back out at the fleet. So we are faster but weaker. That means we have to be smarter. That is what I am counting on, said a new voice. Dr. Elena Rodriguez walked onto the bridge carrying a tablet full of information about alien psychology. I have been studying everything we know about the hegemony. They have been winning for so long that they probably do not expect real resistance. Lisa motioned for everyone to gather around the star chart table in the center of the bridge. Show me what you learned. Elena put her tablet on the table and the information appeared on the big screen above them. The hegemony attacks the same way every time. Big ships move in and threaten to destroy everything. Most civilizations surrender without fighting. The few that do fight use the same kind of energy weapons the hegemony has, just smaller ones. So they expect a certain kind of fight, Mike said. Exactly. They have never fought anyone who uses human tactics. They have never seen our weapons or our way of thinking about war. Captain Nicole smiled. You mean they have never fought anyone crazy enough to ram their ships or use mining explosives as weapons? That is exactly what I mean, Elena said. Chief, Engineer Danny Park came running onto the bridge. His coveralls were covered in oil and his face was sweating. Admiral, we have a problem with the long-distance travel. Lisa felt her stomach drop. What kind of problem? The hyperspace engines. Work fine for short trips, Danny said. But the trip to Kepler will take 3 months. Our engines have never run that long before. We do not know if they will hold up. What happens if they break down? Then we are stuck between stars with no way to get home or move forward. Lisa looked at her officers. They had come so far in just 2 weeks. The entire fleet was ready to launch. But if the engines failed, they would all die in empty space. Can you fix the problem? She asked. Danny wiped sweat from his forehead. Maybe, if we modify the engines on every ship and carry extra parts. But even then it is a big risk. Colonel Mike stepped forward. Admiral, my Marines did not sign up for a safe job. We knew this was dangerous when we volunteered. Nicole nodded. Same with my pilots. We would rather die fighting aliens than sit on Earth wondering what happened to the Zephyrians. Elena looked at her tablet. The aliens are still sending messages. The hegemony is getting closer to their homeworld every day. If we do not leave soon, we will be too late. Lisa walked back to the window and looked out at the fleet. Thousands of people had volunteered for this mission. They all knew they might never come home. But they also knew that somewhere in the galaxy, innocent people were dying and had asked humans for help. She thought about Lieutenant Sarah Kim's words back on Luna City. The aliens called humans Deathworlders because they thought living on Earth made the best fighters in the galaxy. Maybe it was time to find out if they were right. Danny, she said, how long do you need to modify the engines? 2 days, maybe 3. You have 1 day. Work around the clock if you have to, but get it done. Danny nodded and ran back to the engine bays. Lisa turned to Mike and Nicole. Get your people ready. We launch tomorrow night. As her officers left, to prepare their teams, Lisa stayed at the window. The research ship New Horizon had arrived that morning. Captain Jake Morrison and Dr. Amanda Walsh were now part of the fleet. They would guide everyone to the Kepler system using the data from the alien messages. The next 24 hours passed quickly. Engineers worked without sleeping to modify hundreds of ships. Marines loaded weapons and supplies. Pilots practiced flying in formation. Medical teams prepared for battle injuries they had never seen before. Lisa spent the time visiting different ships and talking to the crews. She wanted everyone to understand what they were doing and why it mattered. On the cargo ship Heavy Lifter, she talked to Sergeant Kate Adams, a Marine who had 3 children back on Earth. "Are you ready for this, Sergeant?" Kate checked her rifle one more time. "My kids ask me what I do in the Marines. After this, I can tell them I helped save an entire alien civilization." On the fighter carrier Fast Strike, she met Lieutenant Alex Chen, a young pilot who had never been in real combat. "Nervous?" Lisa asked. Alex grinned, terrified but also excited. How many people get to be in the first space battle in human history? Finally, the time came to leave. Lisa stood on the bridge of the Defiant as the entire fleet prepared for hyperspace. Hundreds of ships stretched out in every direction, their engines glowing blue in the darkness. "All ships report ready for hyperspace jump," said the communications officer. Lisa took a deep breath. Once they jumped, there would be no going back. They would either save the Zephyrians and prove that humans deserved a place among the stars, or they would die trying. "All ships," she said into the fleet radio. "This is Admiral Carter. Today we answer the call of the Deathworlders. Today we show the galaxy what humans can do. Jump on my mark." She paused and looked out at the stars one last time. Jump. The entire fleet disappeared into hyperspace, beginning humanity's first journey to an alien war. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler system. What they saw made everyone go quiet. Huge alien ships floated around the third planet, shooting beams of red light down at the surface. Fires burned across entire continents. Smaller enemy vessels chased fleeing ships that were trying to escape. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of the Defiant and watched the destruction through her telescope. "How many hegemony ships do you count?" 43 big ones, Admiral," said Lieutenant Commander Tony Wells at the sensor station. "Plus maybe 100 smaller attack ships." Lisa nodded. The human fleet had 62 ships total, but most were not built for fighting. "Any sign of Zephyrian survivors?" "Yes, ma'am. I am picking up signals from underground shelters on the planet. Also some ships hiding behind the fourth planet's moons." Dr. Amanda Walsh was working at a temporary station they had set up for her. She had been trying to contact the Zephyrians since the fleet arrived. "Admiral, I am getting a response from the planet's surface." "Put it on speakers." A strange voice filled the bridge. It sounded like wind chimes mixed with music. The computer translated the words into English. "Unknown ships, please identify yourselves. Are you more hegemony forces?" Amanda spoke into her microphone. "This is Dr. Amanda Walsh of the human fleet. We received your message asking for help. The Deathworlders have come." The alien voice was quiet for a long moment. Then it spoke again, and this time it sounded like crying and laughing at the same time. "The Deathworlders came. You actually came. We thought we would all die before anyone answered our call." "We are here now," Amanda said. "Tell us about your people." The voice belonged to a Zephyrian named Keth Moore. Through the radio, he described his people to the humans. The Zephyrians were tall and thin with skin that was almost see-through. They had large eyes and long arms. They looked fragile, like they might break if someone touched them too hard. "We have been hiding in the deep shelters for 2 months, Keth Moore said. "The hegemony soldiers are searching the cities. They take anyone they find and put them on slave ships." "What do the hegemony look like?" Lisa asked. "Big, covered in thick armor that looks like insect shells. They have 4 arms and move on 6 legs. Their weapons burn through our strongest metals. We had no way to fight them." Lisa looked at Colonel Mike Torres. "Mike, can your Marines handle 6-legged armored insects?" Mike smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Admiral, my Marines have fought in every kind of terrain on Earth. We have fought in jungles full of poisonous snakes and deserts full of scorpions. I think we can handle some bugs." Suddenly, alarms started ringing. Lieutenant Commander Wells was staring at his sensors in shock. "Admiral, 12 hegemony ships are coming toward us. Fast." Lisa grabbed the fleet radio. "All ships, we have incoming. Hostiles. Captain Grant, launch all fighters. Everyone else, battle formation Alpha." Captain Nicole Grant was already in her fighter when the order came. She had been waiting in the cockpit for an hour, ready to launch at the first sign of trouble. "All pilots, this is Falcon Leader. Time to show these aliens how humans fight." Her fighter shot out of the carrier bay, followed by 49 others. The human fighters were smaller and faster than anything the hegemony had ever seen. They also moved in ways that seemed impossible. The hegemony attack ships were huge and heavily armed. They had been expecting to find more Zephyrian vessels, trying to escape. Instead, they found small human fighters coming straight at them. "Falcon Leader, this is Falcon 5, said Lieutenant Alex Chen over the radio. "These alien ships are bigger than I expected." "Size does not matter if you cannot hit your target," Nicole replied. "Remember your training. Fast and unpredictable." The first space battle between humans and aliens lasted only 10 minutes. The hegemony ships tried to use their powerful energy weapons, but the human fighters were too fast and too small. The aliens were used to fighting big, slow ships that moved in straight lines. Human fighters spun and rolled and changed direction in ways that made no sense. Alex Chen dove his fighter under a massive hegemony ship and fired his missiles into what looked like an engine port. The explosion was so big it lit up half the system. "Falcon Leader, that one is not getting back up." By the time the battle was over, 11 hegemony ships were destroyed or badly damaged. Only one human fighter was lost, and the pilot was rescued by a nearby ship. The rest of the hegemony fleet noticed the explosions. Soon every enemy ship in the system was moving toward the human fleet. "Admiral," said Tony Wells, "all enemy ships are heading our way. They will be here in 2 hours. Lisa activated the fleet-wide radio. "All ships, this is Admiral Carter. The aliens thought they were fighting sheep, but they found wolves instead. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you mess with Deathworlders." While the space battle was starting, Colonel Mike Torres was preparing for ground combat. The Orcs, Zephyrians, had given him information about hegemony troops that had landed on the planet's surface. "Listen up, Marines," Mike said to his assault teams. "The bugs are big and armored, but they are used to fighting people who run away. We do not run away. We run toward the enemy." Sergeant Kate Adams checked her weapon one more time. "Sir, what? If their armor is too thick for our bullets?" Mike held up a new type of ammunition that the engineers had made during the trip. "Then we use these. Armor-piercing rounds with explosive tips. If that does not work, we use grenades. If that does not work, we use our knives. Marines adapt and overcome." The first group of human Marines landed in a Zephyrian city that was under attack. The hegemony soldiers were moving through the streets, looking for hiding civilians. They were 8 feet tall and covered in natural armor that looked like black metal. They carried energy weapons that could melt through buildings. But they had never fought humans before. Sergeant Adams and her squad used the ruined buildings as cover. The hegemony soldiers were used to enemies that stayed in one place and shot energy beams at each other. Instead, the humans kept moving. They appeared from behind rubble, fired their weapons, and disappeared before the aliens could shoot back. "These bugs move slow," Adams told her squad over the radio. "Big and strong but slow. Use that against them." Private Danny Kim found out that human bullets could not get through hegemony armor from the front. But the armor was weaker at the joints where the legs connected to the body. His first shots brought down a soldier that was 3 times his size. "Aim for the joints," he called to the other Marines. "Their knees and elbows are soft spots." The hegemony soldiers tried to adapt, but they were not used to this kind of fighting. They expected their enemies to be afraid of them. Instead, the humans seemed to get more dangerous when things got worse. When Corporal Lisa Park ran out of ammunition, she used a piece of broken concrete as a weapon. When Private John Lee's rifle jammed, he tackled a hegemony soldier and used his combat knife to find gaps in the armor. "These Deathworlders fight like wild animals," one hegemony soldier said to another in their own language. The human translators picked up the transmission. "Wild animals who know how to use weapons," his partner replied. By the end of the first day, the humans had cleared 3 city blocks of hegemony soldiers. They had rescued over 200 Zephyrian civilians from the underground shelters. But the real battle was just beginning. The main hegemony fleet was almost in position to attack the human ships. Everything would depend on what happened in the next few hours. Admiral Carter looked out at the approaching enemy fleet. They outnumbered the humans 2-1 and had better weapons. But they had never fought Deathworlders before. "All ships," she said into the radio. "Remember why we came here. Those people down there asked us for help. We do not let down people who trust us." The space battle that would decide the fate of two civilizations was about to begin. The main hegemony fleet arrived like a storm of metal and fire. 60 massive warships dropped out of hyperspace, each one bigger than anything humans had ever built. Their leader was a ship so huge it blocked out stars when it moved. "Admiral," Lisa Carter watched them approach on her main screen. "Tony, how big is that command ship?" Lieutenant Commander Wells checked his sensors twice before answering. 5 miles long, Admiral. It has enough firepower to destroy a planet." Lisa activated the fleet radio. "All ships, the enemy commander just made a mistake. He brought his biggest ship right to us. If we can take it out, the rest of their fleet will fall apart." The hegemony ships moved into attack formation. They had done this same thing dozens of times before. Surround the enemy, demand surrender, then destroy anyone who refused. It always worked. But they had never fought humans before. "Admiral," said Captain Jake Morrison from the New Horizon, "I have an idea. The Zephyrians told me about gravity, fields around the fourth planet. If we can trick the enemy ships into following us there, the gravity might trap some of them." Lisa smiled. "Jake, you are not a military man, but that is a very military idea. Nicole, can your fighters lead them into the trap?" Captain Nicole Grant's voice came over the radio from her fighter squadron. "Admiral, my pilots can lead those bugs anywhere you want them to go." The battle began when the hegemony fleet opened fire. Red energy beams lit up space like deadly fireworks. Most of the shots missed because human ships kept moving in patterns the aliens could not predict. The human fleet split into 3 groups. The fighters led by Nicole drew the enemy's attention. The main battle group with Lisa's ships attacked from another direction. The third group, including cargo ships and research vessels, seemed to be running away. The hegemony commander was confused. Most species either fought back with everything they had or tried to escape. The humans were doing both at the same time. "Follow the escaping ships," the hegemony commander ordered. "Destroy them before they can get away." Half the enemy fleet chased the fleeing human ships toward the fourth planet. They did not know about the gravity trap waiting for them. Captain Morrison was on one of the fleeing ships. His job was to lead the enemy exactly where the humans wanted them. "Come on, you big bugs," he said to himself as enemy ships got closer. Just a little further. When the hegemony ships reached the gravity field, something unexpected happened. The strong gravity grabbed their huge ships and would not let go. The aliens tried to escape, but their ships were too big and heavy. "Now!" Lisa said into her radio. The cargo ships that seemed to be running away suddenly turned around. They were not cargo ships anymore. Chief Engineer Danny Park had filled them with mining explosives during the trip from Earth. Now they flew straight at the trapped enemy ships. The explosions were so bright they could be seen from the planet's surface. 20 hegemony warships were destroyed in less than 5 minutes. But the battle was not over. The enemy command ship and its escorts were still coming toward the main human fleet. The hegemony commander was angry now. No one had ever tricked his ships like this. "Destroy all the human vessels," he ordered. "Show them what happens when insects fight giants." The command ship's weapons were more powerful than anything humans had seen. Its first shot destroyed a human cruiser completely. The second shot badly damaged another ship. Lisa knew her fleet could not win a direct fight against the massive command ship. But humans did not always fight fair. "Amanda," she said to Dr. Walsh, "can you contact the Zephyrians on the planet?" "Yes, Admiral." "Ask them if they have any weapons left. Anything at all." Amanda spoke quickly with Keth Moore, the Zephyrian leader. "Admiral, they have orbital defense platforms, but the power systems were damaged in the first attack." Lisa thought fast. "Can human engineers fix them?" "Maybe, but it would take hours. We do not have hours. Lisa looked at the approaching command ship. Wait. Amanda, ask them if the defense platforms can be fired manually. After a quick conversation, Amanda turned back to Lisa. They say yes, but someone would have to stay on the platforms to aim and fire them. The radiation from the weapons would kill anyone who stays. The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what Lisa was thinking. I need volunteers, Lisa said into the fleet radio. Volunteers for a one-way mission. Every single person in the fleet volunteered. Lisa chose 12 engineers led by Danny Park. They took shuttles down to the planet and worked with Zephyrian technicians to get the defense platforms ready. Admiral, Danny said over the radio from the first platform. We are ready down here, just get that command ship in range. Lisa looked at her tactical officer. How do we get a 5-mile-long ship to come closer to the planet? Lieutenant Sarah. Kim had an idea. She was the young officer who convinced Earth to help the aliens. Now she was about to help save them. Admiral, what if we make them think we are retreating to the planet? They will follow us to finish the job. It was a dangerous plan. If it failed, the human fleet would be trapped between the enemy ships and the planet's surface. But it was the only chance they had. All ships, Lisa ordered, fall back toward the planet. Make it look like we are beaten. The human ships limped toward the planet, some of them leaking air and showing battle damage. The hegemony command ship followed them, getting closer and closer to the orbital defense platforms. When the enemy ship was finally in range, Danny Park's voice came over the radio one last time. Admiral, it has been an honor serving with you. Tell Earth that the engineers did their job. The orbital defense platforms fired together. 12 beams of pure energy hit the hegemony command ship from different angles. The massive vessel's shields collapsed and its armor melted like ice. Explosions ran along its hull from front to back. The command ship tried to retreat, but it was too late. The Zephyrian weapons powered by human courage tore the giant vessel apart. When the other hegemony ships saw their command ship destroyed, they lost the will to fight. Some tried to escape. Others surrendered. The battle was over. Colonel Mike Torres contacted Lisa from the planet's surface. Admiral, the hegemony ground troops are surrendering too. The Zephyrians are free. Lisa sat down in her command chair. They had done it. Against all odds, humans had won their first war among the stars. 3 days later, representatives from 12 different alien civilizations arrived at Kepler. They had heard about the battle and wanted to meet the Deathworlders, who defeated the hegemony. Keth Moore spoke for all the Zephyrians at the peace ceremony. The humans answered our call when no one else would. They fought for people they had never met on worlds they had never seen. Today we offer them our friendship and our technology. The Deathworlders have earned their place among the stars. Admiral. Carter stood before the assembled aliens and spoke for all humanity. We came here because you asked for help. We will always answer such calls. Anyone who threatens innocent people will have to face the Deathworlders. The ceremony ended with the signing of the Human-Zephyrian Alliance. It was the first treaty between humans and aliens, but it would not be the last. Captain Jake Morrison prepared the New Horizon for its journey back to Earth. The ship had been renamed the New Dawn to mark the beginning of humanity's expansion into the galaxy. Dr. Amanda Walsh stood on the bridge and looked out at the stars. Jake, do you think we did the right thing? Jake smiled. Amanda, we kept a promise to people who needed help. We showed the galaxy that humans keep their word. I think that is exactly the right thing. As the New Dawn entered hyperspace for the trip home, other messages were already arriving from across the galaxy. More civilizations had heard about the Deathworlders. More people were asking for help. Humanity had announced its arrival among the stars, and the stars would never be the same.